welcome back to the channel. It has been too long. I apologize for the long hiatus, but I am back and ready to roll. First topic back is going to be SPAC Mania. We are back talking SPAC. Yes, I'm sure you've heard a lot of the attention gathering around these special purpose acquisition vehicles. Quick fact, fun note here, these used to actually be called blank check companies. They got rebranded as special purpose acquisition vehicle, probably because it has a much less negative connotation than blank check company. But I want to get into these numbers. They're pretty staggering. So back in 2019, we had 59 SPACs for a total of about $13.3 billion. Then 2020 comes along, the year of the SPAC, right? You have 248 SPACs worth about $83.6 billion. Everybody thought 2020 was it. That was the year. Well, 2021 comes along, and just in 2.5 months, these are numbers through mid-February, we're already at 226 SPACs for $73 billion. 75% of 2020's numbers already in 2.5 months. These are, like I said, staggering numbers. This video is not about the SPAC though. You all know the basics. They're shell companies. They don't actually have any existing business or operating business, and they are created solely to merge with a partner company, taking them public. It's looked at as a much more frictionless and seamless way to take private companies, smaller private companies public, probably a lot less expensive as well. But again, you all knew that. So I just wanted to throw out some of these numbers, but get into a little bit of the investing part into these SPACs and why are people chasing some of these, and is it really best for you? Well, I can't answer that specifically for everybody watching this video. What I do tell clients and family and friends that have been asking a lot about SPACs is look at this as a risk management piece for your overall total investable assets. These SPACs are very unproven small companies, just like a lot of IPOs. But in fact, during an IPO process, a lot of those smaller, younger companies have products, have revenues, have expenses. The SPAC raises money based on projections, maybes. That's what SPACs are. You are really taking the risk factor exponentially higher when you're talking about SPAC. What I do tell people is if you want to take a risk management eye towards this and look at your investable assets and say, okay, look, I'm willing to all in put 2, 3, 5% of all of my investable assets into a handful of SPACs or one SPAC. That's not the worst thing to do. You're risk managing there because you're taking a very small piece of your total portfolio or investable assets and putting into these vehicles or vehicle. Why do you do that? Well, to mitigate risk. A lot of these, like I said, don't even have products. They're coming out, they're seeing the easy access to investor dollars, and they're saying, wow, okay, we can raise X amount for our company. We don't even have a product. We're telling people we're gonna have a product in 2, 3, 5 years from now, and they're still able to raise hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. It's pretty astounding, actually. But manage the risk, manage the position sizing in your portfolio. Another important thing that I like to tell clients is that it's probably better just to wait and see how these things play out. I want to give you a couple quick examples. Amazon, in its early infant days as a public company after going through a traditional IPO, went from down to dollars a share up to 100, back down to 5, then went up to 45, down to 25, went back up to 100, and then went back down again to 40. That was Amazon. Google, another great example, went up to about $350 a share in its first few years and all the way back down to 120. These are 50, 60, 90+% losses in these stocks, and look at them now. My point that I'm trying to make here is if these companies are going to really change the game in whatever niche that they are in, you will have, or you most of the time I should say, you never want to say with 100% certainty, but most of the time you're going to have time to let these companies vet themselves out. And you can then see what the business model looks like 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. Let other investors take on this monumental amount of risk in the first few months, first year or two, and let these companies grow into their business models. Sure, you may miss a chunk of the upside, but again, look at the examples with Amazon and Google. You had plenty of time to let them grow into themselves and reinvent themselves, because the original business plan, as we've seen for these amazing companies that are in existence for 10, 20, 30 years and compound growth on their stock prices by hundreds or thousands of percent, they're constantly reinventing themselves over time. So whatever they're coming to market with now is most likely not going to be their biggest selling feature in 5 or 10 years, if they're still around. So just the quick takeaways, everyone. Manage your risk. Position size is hugely important here. However, like I just mentioned, it is probably the best bet to just wait it out a little bit. Follow these companies, follow their management teams, listen to some earnings calls, let them go through a business cycle or two, and see how much, if at all, you do want to put your hard-earned dollars into these companies down the road. Very interesting times. I'm going to do a quick piece on NFTs, these non-fungible tokens. It's amazing how quickly all of these things are just exploding and gathering huge sums of investor dollars in very short periods of time. These NFTs just took off in the last handful of weeks. I know they've been around for a bit longer than that, but it's amazing. Once you get a couple of big deals, this media attention just goes crazy, and now everybody's kind of jumping in all of these pools. It's a pretty interesting and amazing time to be in the financial markets. If you have any questions, if you want to talk more about anything finance related, please feel free to send us a comment below or send us an email. Thank you all for the time. Sorry it's been so long, but look forward to doing a bunch of these videos in the near future. Thank you all. Have a great day.